Hello again from Daytona Beach, Florida. Busy day of NASCAR ahead on FS1. We start with the stars of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Saw Tyler Reddick, the rating champ. There's one of the rookies, Noah Gragson. Another rookie is Chase Briscoe. He's out of Mitchell, Indiana. There's the old veteran from Illinois, Justin Allgaier. 5 wins a season ago for him. The only person better when it comes to victories, Christopher Bell. 7 times he got the checkered flag in his rookie campaign. We've got 2 hours of Xfinity coverage for you coming up throughout the afternoon. It's all presented by Toyota. We're happy you're with us on a gorgeous day in Central Florida. In fact, if you look at the rest of the weekend, it's outstanding all the way through Sunday's Daytona 500. Right now it's 72 degrees and picturesque as we get set to put cars on track. So let's rewind before we look ahead. Tyler Reddick won this race a year ago at Daytona. He made it to the championship 4, and once he was there, he flat delivered, taking that 9 car to victory lane for Junior Motorsports, and he won the championship. Let's get more from his camp and send it to Jamie Little.
What a season it was, Adam, for Tyler Reddick. It started highs of highs, winning here in Daytona. Then it was an up and down season, only to finish on a high note, getting that championship, overcoming the pressure. I just talked to Tyler before he got in the car, and he said, I still pinched myself. I cannot believe I am the champion. But he said it's time to get back to work. Brand new team in Richard Childress Racing. He is in the 2 car. He told me the plan for this practice, go out, jump in the draft right away, work with the 10 and 11 cars, and get comfortable, and hopefully park it before the practice is over. Keep your eye on that too, Regan Smith.
Well, not only did our championship winner have a lot of changes during the offseason, Jamie, but our runner-up did too. We've got a brand new crew chief for Cole Custer. Mike Shiplett goes from the 42 car, which shut down during the offseason, over to the 00 at Stewart-Haas Racing. I asked him when he found out that that was going to happen. He didn't even know until late December that any of this was taking place. He was on vacation with his wife out of the country. So a lot of big changes for these guys, but an experienced crew chief to hop in and lead the ship for Cole Custer this season. Adam?
No pun intended. Mike Shiplett leading the ship for Cole Custer, who no doubt is one of the talented young drivers in all of NASCAR. Welcome into the broadcast booth with Michael Waltrip. I'm Adam Alexander. Here we are, always an exciting time as we get practice underway. First time in 2019.
Well, I guarantee you, Tyler Reddick can't wait to get behind the car and jump out there in the draft. There's so many things that have changed, Adam, with new crew chiefs, different drivers, and with different teams. Elliott Sadler's not here anymore. I'm going to miss Elliott. But the thing that's the same is the action here at Daytona. We've seen incredible finishes, the closest in the history of NASCAR. And these cars are going to get out there today, mix it up, figure out where they are as a group, and get ready for tomorrow. This is a big day.
Have you done your homework with all the changes?
Yes, I have it, and I'm going to follow right along with you.
We apologize now. We might screw something up. We will correct our issues, and the cars will be on track when we return to Daytona.
Here we go. It's my turn to make history. Bang, bang, won't stop till we
Daytona 500 coverage begins Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
A spectacular World 600 winner of the World 600.
The Coke 600, I've dreamt of this race since I was a kid.
This is the Charlotte World 600, the longest, toughest, meanest examination of racing credentials yet devised.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
If stock car racing is a peerless sport, then this is the peerless race.
ABC on Fox, live from Microsoft Theater. Saturday, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
At Domino's, we love pizza as much as you do. That's why we're giving you Piece of the Pie rewards points for eating any pizza from anywhere.
Pizza from here?
Yep.
How about from here?
That's right.
Homemade pizza?
I guess.
Homemade pizza?
That's a little better.
What about anchovy?
Any toppings.
New York style.
Deep dish.
Any pizza.
What?
Download the Domino's app, scan your pizza, and you could earn 10 Piece of the Pie rewards points toward free Domino's pizza.
Cars rolling off pit road, practice underway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I don't know what it is about the animals following us around. We've had groundhogs, we had a fox, we had a squirrel one time. It's all about the birds here at Daytona. And we'll watch these cars as they get up to speed and get in the draft. First quick reminder is we get it going in 2019. Some changes, Michael, at the top of the list going.
A lot of hype around the Toyota.
You look at the owner's points. If you put a Cup driver in your car, no owner's points. And so hopefully when we get down to South Florida, decide a champion at the end of the year, the guy that wins the Drivers' Championship will also hand that same title to his team and organization. Didn't see that last year, as we know, and talked about off the top. Tyler Reddick won the Drivers' Championship. Cole Custer, Stewart Haas Racing, able to bring home the owner's title in 2018. Game plan for the 2 hours of practice, an hour now and an hour later. Surprised at what you're seeing so far, Michael?
Not really. It'll be split, Adam. A lot of teams will just want to make single car runs, make sure their heights are right, make sure there's no vibrations, understand exactly how their car feels. But then others, as you see here, this is a pretty significant draft. We got 6 or 8 cars up front, and then there's some strung out behind them that will be catching a big tug. So when you're looking out the hood of Chase Briscoe's car, I would focus more on back, 6, 8, 10 cars back. Getting that draft and pulling up is where we'll see our fastest speed. First car by that was fast, Chase Briscoe. That'll change over this session.
You mentioned Chase Briscoe, and as we continue to reset on where everyone will be throughout the season, Briscoe, no surprise driving the 98 for Stewart Haas. He was behind the wheel of that car 5 times last year, got it to victory lane in the Roval, also drove the 60 for Roush Fenway, but he is full-time 98 driving for Tony Stewart in the season ahead. Going to be fun to watch that play out, and drafting behind another guy that's been on the move. Jamie talked about Tyler Reddick moving from the 9 to the 2 for RCR, and just in front of him, full-time opportunity, John Hunter Nemechek in the 23 for GMS. Of course, he won last year at Kansas driving the 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah, there's a good shot of that 23 car. A lot of movement as we talked throughout the offseason. Briscoe, he's never raced an Xfinity car here at Daytona, but he was 3rd in the truck, so he knows how to get it done in the big draft, and I'm looking for a lot of big things out of him. What about that big win at the Roval you talked about? So many big moments in this kid's career. He's just risen to every task, and he's been able to accomplish a lot already in the sport. Same the deal with John Hunter Nemechek in the 23.
You look at our Rookie of the Year class, 4 guys signed up right now. They've combined for 14 wins in the Truck and Xfinity Series and won championships in ARCA and K&N. So it speaks to what they've accomplished already, and certainly we expect more of the same throughout 2019.
You know what that tells me, Adam? When you show up to go NASCAR Xfinity racing, I mean, you're a rookie because you haven't run a full season Xfinity, but just so much experience because of NASCAR's feeder system. You mentioned the K&N cars, the Gander Outdoor Series trucks. They are all right there competing on these tracks and getting this view for themselves. So when it comes time to go racing tomorrow, they're going to be far from rookies.
Visor cam is awesome, huh?
It's the best. I mean, it tells you what it's like to be behind the wheel. Just watch him work his hands as he goes through the corner. You don't just sit there. Same thing, if you could see his foot, it's coming back and forth as well. There's a lot that goes on to working your way through the draft. Adam, it'd be easy just to sit there and run wide open and follow along, but you've got to mix it up. You've got to roll off the gas, fall back behind the guy, figure out how much of a run you can get and how that affects your car.
That red and black car you saw sliding from the inside to the outside, the 20 of Christopher Bell, and there's a good look at that bright orange or red 7, depending on your choice on that. That's Justin Allgaier, who's always good when it comes to the Xfinity Series, Regan.
Well, not only is he good when it comes to the Xfinity Series, Adam, he's very good at Daytona and Talladega as well with the drafting, but something a little bit different for him this weekend. Tab Boyd will be spotting for him. His normal spotter, Eddie DeHaan, has moved over to Chase Elliott's number 8 car for this particular weekend because he spots for Chase on the Cup Series. So a little bit to get accustomed to for him there as he looks to get the win at Daytona.
Junior Motorsports, so good at this place, winning 5 of the last 10. Now, Allgaier not a part of that. It was almost 6 of the last 10. He'd lost a heartbreaker here a couple of summers ago, but they certainly have their plate program together, and I would expect will be a player again here tomorrow.
What about this pack, Adam? We're talking 15 cars deep, 3 wide. We're seeing a lot of action right now. These guys know that these conditions are perfect to prepare for tomorrow.
Aggressive early, and Chase Briscoe right in the middle of the mess, Jamie.
And Chase Briscoe at 196 miles per hour on top of the board right now. He's one of 4 Rookie of the Year candidates. I had a chance to talk to him before he got in the car, and he said, you know, I run sprint cars, midgets, you name it, I've been running it. It makes you a better race car driver when you jump in and out of cars, he said, but there's no opportunity like this year. When I am full-time, I can focus 100% on my Xfinity Series and my team. He said that will set us up for success. He had a big smile on his face, and I'm really excited. And it's showing already here early in practice.
Well, and part of that's got to be he's driving for Tony Stewart. As Jamie mentioned, here's a kid that grew up racing in the Midwest, doing the sprint car thing on the dirt, exactly like his owner. Another Indiana kid trying to make it from the dirt tracks throughout the middle part of America to the high banks at Daytona and be successful at it. And if he can do what his owner did here, he's going to be great. Tony Stewart tied with Dale Earnhardt for the most wins all time in the Xfinity Series here at the World Center of Racing.
Wow, I just can't get over the action we're seeing. This pack is intense. You can tell NASCAR has the rules spot on with these Xfinity cars because they're able to run 2, 3 wide. The cars look fairly stable, but as that sun beats down on this racetrack, Adam, these tires get hotter and hotter on this longer run. You're really going to learn a lot. Do you have the setup right? Are you properly gripping in the corners to be able to run wide open and make these bold moves we're seeing here in practice? Time will tell, but I like what I'm seeing so far.
On board there with Christopher Bell, just his inside. That's the Nutrien Chevrolet. It's a second car out of the Colleague stables and driven by Ross Chastain this weekend. We're on board now with Justin Haley, another one of our rookies. Got word he's going to make a run to pit road, but not this time.
I hope not. That would have been a hot run to pit road.
Watch this 00 in the mid. 1.5 up in front. 3 top. 7 up there. 2 top. Going to be bottom 3 right here. The double majority. Mid 2 clear, bottom 2 covered. 2 gap ahead of him. You're 2 wide only. Still outside side. Your help 2 off. 1 out there. 17's with you inside. You're good to bail out whenever you're ready. Here's your help with a run. 2, 1.
Look who's leading the field. That's the 19 of Jeffrey Earnhardt, a familiar scene.
That's the last one.
Too bad it's Brandon Jones in the 19, the 18 behind him.
Yeah, he's right up there in the front,
Earnhardt.
too. And, you know, Adam, we hear the spotters talking. They're also waving their arms. You know, we heard him say, you're ready to bail out when you want to. He's got to communicate with the other spotters so they can see, I'm coming to pit road. His arm's in the air waving. My car's coming to pit road. Watch him. It's communication, and we see trouble getting to pit road a lot. And in this case, you could hear how the spotters are able to communicate with their drivers, but they also have to communicate with each other.
Mentioned Jeffrey Earnhardt, going to run that 18 car in 9 events this year. This weekend at Atlanta next week. Kyle Busch will get back in the 18 when we head home to Las Vegas in 2 weeks' time.
Wouldn't you say this is the fastest car Jeffrey Earnhardt's ever been in? And look what he's doing. He's got it right up in the front of this pack. This is an awesome opportunity for that young man to go out and showcase his talents. And so far in this session, I think he's done everything his team has hoped for.
4th generation driver, and so much success, as we said, for that family over the course of time right here at Daytona.
You know what I like about Jeffrey Earnhardt? He's been able to learn a bit under the radar. He's got a lot of laps under his belt. He knows what the draft feels like. He's been in this situation before. Now he's got a machine there in that beautiful Toyota Supra on the outside that he can go contend with.
Right behind Earnhardt, the 8 of Chase Elliott, won this race 3 years ago, driving for Junior Motorsports back this year. Only problem is he doesn't have his wingman. That would be crew chief Dave Ellens, who's won in 3 consecutive seasons at Daytona. Got that win in 16 with Chase Elliott, won a couple of years ago in the summertime with William Byron, and last year Tyler Reddick able to get it done, as we talked about earlier.
And now you think Noah Gregson's thinking, I got the right guy on my box, huh?
Well, he's won the championship with a rookie driver the last 2 years, so Noah's got a, I don't know if he's feeling pressure or confidence, one or the other certainly. Maybe a combination of both.
You know, it's interesting to me, Adam, and I think this is a good sign for the weekend. We watched the Monster Energy Stars run around the top of the track last night in the duel. Well, we're not seeing anything like that today in the Xfinity Series, and it could be a couple of things. The rules are a little bit different, yes, I know that, but the sun on the track, that changes the game. And on that late race move last night when Joey Logano took the victory away from Clint Boyer, I think those cars up on the high side of the track were beginning to slip and slide a bit, and Joey had a good handling car. He dove to the bottom, and the conditions were perfect for the cars to stick. Now here in the sunshine, that's a bit more of a challenge. This is an interesting practice session. As you can see, Cindric squeezing right over.
Cindric driving that 22. He'll be in it every weekend this year.
There's nothing behind. I'll clear.
Last year made the playoffs as a rookie, driving 3 different cars, 22-12 for Team Penske, and that's 60 for Roush Fenway. And his teammate Brad Keselowski out front now in the 12. He'll run a handful of races this year as well. This is so entertaining, but we have to step aside. More fun in the draft when we return. 38 minutes to go. It's the opening practice of the year for the Xfinity Series presented by Toyota.
I can hit on that if you want me to. If you want to
just pick up.
Yeah, after you.
Live once again at Daytona International Speedway. It's Xfinity Series practice, and this broadcast is also live on Fox partner Caffeine. You can watch, chat, and host your own broadcast at home, giving fans your take on the event. Caffeine is available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Download for free today. You're like a caffeine expert now, right, Michael?
I spent media day here at the Daytona International Speedway talking to drivers on caffeine. The viewers at home, all they have to do is sign up and they can chat with the drivers, and it was a lot of fun. We played NASCAR Heat 3, and guess who was the fastest guy all day long Wednesday on caffeine? NASCAR Heat 3.
It had to be one of the young guys. I would say Ryan Blaney.
He was right there, but the guy that took the second duel last night,
not William Byron, Joey Logano.
Joey Logano.
Turns out he's good at everything.
That's exactly right.
He'll be in the booth with us tomorrow.
Well, he's good at that too. I like Joey Logano. He's the champ. It was so cool to see him for the first time this weekend and say, hey, champ, how are you?
But he told Shannon on an interview on NASCAR Race Hub, I'm not going down as the defending champ. I'm going down as a past champ. His focus is getting more of those big trophies. Hey, I hate to interrupt this conversation, but what we're seeing in this practice is incredible.
It is just that, and I know that these drivers are feeling really good about what they've got because you can see they're making bold moves. Look at the side draft, sweeping down to the bottom. You can see guys filling holes that are there. Allgaier all over the back of cars. This is good stuff.
Mentioned that second place finish a couple of years ago for Justin Allgaier. Really his only highlight here. He's had a lot of bad luck at this place.
Adam, these guys are working their 18th straight lap. They're nearing halfway of a fuel run. This is a way to really understand how your car is going to handle tomorrow in the sun under race conditions. And as a guy that's been down here and been out there in that pack, if I'm sitting at home, I got a big smile on my face. I'm liking what I'm going to see tomorrow because of the aggression of the drivers and then the confidence they have to stay out there for that many laps as their tires get hotter and the cars slip and slide. They still feel good about the way they handle.
That gold car dropping down below the double yellow line is Tyler Reddick. Saw Noah Gragson doing the same thing. That 9-car silver color this season, Switch is the sponsor there.
You talked about the 2-car of Reddick. He's second fastest. This is a practice run to pit road for Briscoe. We know how important getting on pit road is. Look how hot Cindric's coming in back there.
Well, you just go to the Clash last weekend and last night's Gander RV Duel. In both of those events, NASCAR's biggest stars had issues getting onto pit road, caught speeding. If you do that here, it can take you out of a chance to win real quick.
Well, and the reason why these guys push it so hard and try so hard, what about the big move Denny Hamlin made coming to pit road in the Clash? He was able to pass cars coming to pit road, had another strong pit in and out last night in his duel that put him right up front. He was running second there on the last lap. So Hamlin does his job getting on and off pit road and maximizing his speed down pit road, and everybody notices that, and race car drivers are full of themselves. They don't want to hear about Denny Hamlin. They don't care how good he did it. They want to do it better, and so you push and push till you're the best.
Where is the most difficult place to get onto pit road under green?
Daytona and Talladega, no doubt about it. Now you say, why, Mike? It's a big track and there's a lot of room. And we just saw that there is. It's because of the pack and that communication that I talked about earlier from the spotters. Just think about this, Adam. If there's a pack of 25 cars and 10 of them are going to come to pit road, you got spotters on the roof all waving, my guy's coming. Well, how the heck do you know which guy that is? You know, and so it's hard to communicate to your driver, and a lot of times you'll see cars get hit from behind and spun around simply trying to make a pit stop.
You know who I'm excited about in 2019? The group over at Sieg Racing. Ryan Sieg as a new crew chief. Shane Wilson calling the shots. Car looks outstanding. Larry's Lemonade, the colors there.
Is that Larry Mack's Lemonade?
I think it's something different.
Oh.
But we also saw the 38 of Josh Bilicki, who's going to drive for them full-time this year. And Josh, of course, a guy that ran full-time a season ago and has done some great things. And this weekend, they're going to have 3 cars. The 93 of Jeff Green, who's won a Daytona 500 pole and an Xfinity Series championship.
Last year's Xfinity season opener gave us the closest finish in NASCAR history. Rookie Tyler Reddick edged his teammate in epic fashion.
A photo finish! Tyler Reddick's going to edge him out.
Cream rises to the top at Daytona. Coverage begins 2 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Joey Logano in the booth with Michael and me. 4/10/1000ths of a second.
Say that slower. Maybe I can grasp it.
4/10/1000ths.
So that's 3 zeros and then a 4
with a dot in front of it. And what's even maybe more amazing is the finish we had that it followed up with last summer, which was 5/1000ths of a second. I mean, that's really close, but not 4/10/1000ths. Randall Burnett, crew chief for Tyler Reddick, talking things over with the boss man, Richard Childress.
Those cars are gold because it's Richard Childress Racing's 50th anniversary. And I'm telling you, just like Richard Petty, Adam, it warms my heart to see Richard Childress down there working with his team, asking what's going on. Well, how can I help you guys? What can I provide so that we can go win races? That man is all in. If there's cars on the track, he's in the garage area checking them out. And I just appreciate his heart, how much he's all in with this car.
Let's get a word with Regan.
Is that of the 20 of Christopher Bell. Everybody has returned from this team from a year ago, so a lot of familiarity for these guys. He liked his car in the draft that first run. He was 9th on the board, so it had good speed. Only complaint was it moved around just a little bit more than he might like in the wind, but as you guys know, that's just part of Daytona. Their plan here to hit pit road a few times, to work on single car runs. They should be done drafting for the day.
7 wins a year ago for Christopher Bell. Made it down to Miami. Things didn't go his way, so he couldn't close the deal, win the championship. But he's got a year of experience, same great race team. How many wins can he get this year?
Well, I just think the competition every year gets tougher and tougher, and anything you accomplished the year before is harder to accomplish the next because of that. He set the standard. People are shooting at him. They want to make sure they're the story. They don't want to hear about his new Supra or his 7 wins last year. They want to be the story. So I think it'd be difficult. He's making a run down pit road, making sure that timing is right. Listen, there he goes, firing it up to leave pits. And so all this is these are important details you need to win here at Daytona or anywhere. But with the difficulty of pit road I talked about earlier, it's especially important here.
Working on the single car program right now. Jamie, what do you have for us?
Well, there's always so much anticipation, all that off-season waiting. You want to get in your car. Well, Jeremy Clements, there's a lot of work going on. You haven't even had a chance to get out there. What's happening?
I don't know. It's last minute things happening. Some oil been pumping out. We might have too much in it, but man, I'm really excited and anxious to get our repairablevehicles.com Chevy out there and see what we got. And I'm watching on the Xfinity app right now, watching drafting and looking at the one car, seeing what they got going on. So I'm ready to go, and hopefully we'll get it out there soon and see what we got. But yeah, 300 start. I'm anxious to be there and see what we got and hopefully win this thing, and I think we can. You know, our car should be just as fast as Xfinity Internet, and we should be really good. So I'm excited.
Well done. Jeremy Clements, 300 start, Adam.
That's an awesome number. 31 of our 38 cars have been on track in this practice session, Jamie. One of the 7 that have not. Obviously, Jeremy Clements, as we just heard. His dad's the crew chief. This is a fun team, easy group to root for.
Yeah, and you were down in the garage area earlier talking to his dad, Tony, about this team, and they've upgraded their equipment. Got a lot of good stuff going on, huh?
Yeah, I think they are as excited as they've ever been. Picked up some cars from the Ganassi team that went away in the offseason, and so with that, it breathes some life and confidence into this group, and I think they're a team that could contend for a playoff spot for sure. You remember Jeremy made the playoffs 2 years ago when he was able to get to victory lane on the road course at Road America.
Looks like he's about ready to strap in. Stephen Light's on the road from Asheville, North Carolina. He won that race in Kentucky. Maybe one of the biggest upsets in Xfinity history when he drove to victory back in 2007.
Yeah, he's got a top 15 finish under his belt here at Daytona, driving one of the 4 cars this weekend for JD Motorsports. Teaming up with Garrett Smithley. Scott Lagasse Jr. will pilot the 4, and the 15 will be driven by B.J. McLeod. What's the story with Justin Allgaier? 5 wins a year ago, 10th in practice right now, Regan.
Well, he's out of his race car right now. I see you checking your heart rate monitor there. Everything good so far on that?
Everything's good so far. You know, I think the more information that we can kind of go through at the course of the race weekend, the better. So we've got a really fast brand professional agriculture Camaro SS. Practice was good because I think that we had enough cars so you could really get out there and see what your car is going to be like on Saturday, and it was fun out there. It was fun to get back in the car. First interview of the year, first time on the racetrack, it's always good.
Hey, we highlighted during that run, you've got a different spotter this weekend than we've been accustomed to. Eddie DeHaan, not with you, he's with Chase Elliott. I saw you leaning in, talking to Chase about his race car. What were you guys discussing about your two cars?
Well, I think the cool thing about having Chase over here, obviously, is the experience that he's got on the Cup side this past week especially. But also, too, just he's been in these cars, he's run really well in these cars, and we were just kind of going over some things that we felt. You know, I do have a different spotter. Normally I have Chase's spotter, Eddie DeHaan. This week I have Tab Boyd, which has done a fantastic job on the spotter stand so far in practice. You know, finding that comfort level is going to be so important. So I wanted to make sure he was kind of thinking the same things I was, and we both kind of had the same outlook on where our cars were at. So that's obviously a good thing, being teammates. You know, you hope your sub drives the same as your teammates' cars. But, you know, I think the hardest part's going to be when you have that small of a group. It's no different than last night in the duels. You got a smaller group of cars. You can do things easier or harder depending on what they are versus having a full field. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how this all translates to the race.
Adam, he seems calm right now. The good news I can tell you, I saw that heart rate monitor. He does have a heartbeat still, as calm as he seems standing there.
Well, it sounds to me like he's not going to go out in the second practice. A couple years ago at Talladega when he did that, he brought some ice cream to the booth. We can only hope he does it again today.
This week on NASCAR Race Up, the season is officially underway, and we're talking with the Daytona 500 champion. Plus, we have Jamie McMurray, fresh off his Daytona 500 run, along with Brad Keselowski, David Reagan, Chad Knaus, Cole Pern, and Drew Blickensderfer. And with that kind of lineup, you know we'll have a champion-sized radioactive as well.
Hang on, hang on, hang on. Done. Oh, my God.
That's all this week on NASCAR Race Up. Weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
I feel like there's a real good chance that the Daytona 500 champion is a part of the lineup that will be on the hub. I know we're going to interview them regardless of who they are, and there they are getting set for shows later today. Always working hard in the Race Hub studio.
Yeah, the studio is awesome. I love some of our hands there. There's my buddy Hippie hanging out.
Mike, and Hippie.
Yeah. Hi, Mike.
So one of the big changes as we set off the top, Toyota going to the Supra. Here's a look at Brandon Jones. It looks great on track. It's going to look really good on the road, Mike.
Man, I love this car. I was out at Barrett-Jackson where they auctioned one off. I think it went for $2 million. But, you know, Adam, think about this. I have a buddy back home, and he's like, I can't wait to watch the Xfinity series on Fox because these are the cars I want to see racing. We have a Supra on the racetrack. They're going to race a Ford Mustang against a Camaro. It's like Fast and Furious. It's everything that we want to see in cars, and the way that Supra, its lines, how sleek it is. What a beautiful machine.
Great race car, great road car, and certainly happy to have them a part of NASCAR here in 2019. So under 20 minutes to go in this first practice session of the year. And at the top is Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, John Hunter Nemechek, Ross Chastain, Justin Haley complete the top 5. Custer, Cindric, Bell, Chase Elliott, and Justin Allgaier seen here are your top 10. Talking things over with those Junior Motorsports crew chiefs. Dave Ellens on the left, who calls the shots for Noah Gragson, and Jason Burdett is the signal caller for Justin Allgaier. Since they were paired together over at Junior Motorsports in that 7 car, they've had a lot of success the last few years.
Yeah, I love Jason Burdett. Calm, cool, collected, and the relationship that those two have formed is just one of the best in the garage area. And you see, drivers can't tell you how their car's working without using their hands. It's a very important piece of the puzzle for us.
There's the 4, Scott Lagasse Jr. Mentioned his name earlier. Great looking paint scheme. Of course, he's a local guy, St. Augustine, Florida, 2nd generation driver. Did a neat thing yesterday, as he often does. They did a 45-mile bike ride here in and around the racetrack. In fact, I think it started here, ended here. But it's all about creating awareness and safety for those that are going out on 2 wheels. He's an avid biker and had a lot of those from the NASCAR garage with him, including John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, I'm just beginning my biking, and I do it in a parking lot till I can get my safety about me, because it's really important. It's great exercise, but it's really important to make sure that you know your P's and Q's, and what Scott does for that initiative is awesome. And I'm going to tell you something else about Scott real quick, Adam. He will make his way to the front of this race tomorrow.
Always does.
Yes, you're exactly right.
6th here a couple of years ago with Scott Lagasse, and he pops up from time to time. Didn't compete in the Xfinity Series last year, but we've seen him here in the truck. And as you said, and there are a handful of names that you look at on the entry list, and you know when we come here at some point they will be a player. There's Randall Burnett, crew chief for Tyler Reddick. He was a racer as a kid.
There you see that 50-year anniversary of Richard Childress Racing.
16.5 minutes to go. Opening practice. Let's get a Toyota team update. Go to the garage. We start with Regan. What do you have for us, Regan?
Well, Adam, you talked earlier about Jeffrey Earnhardt and this being the best opportunity of his career. He's in one of the Joe Gibbs cars right now. A little bit of a problem with it, though, as they sit in the garage area here. They're working underneath the rear end of the race car. A little bit of a rear end leak that they've got to work out of this thing. But nonetheless, a fast car, 12th place on the board right now for Jeffrey. And this has got to be one of the very first times that we've ever had an Earnhardt in a Toyota. Something pretty unique here.
That's a good point, because normally, obviously, it's been a Chevrolet, and of course Jeffrey Carey's son, who had some great runs over the years in the ARCA Racing Series, and grandfather Dale, 32 wins here. When you talk about Xfinity competition, the duel, the clash, the 500, and the summer race here, that's the most all time.
What about that documentary last night about Dale and Jeff? It was totally awesome. Congratulations to Fox Sports. I could not believe how into that show I was. I lived all that, but being able to see it again, man, it was special.
A little bit of a flashback to great moments at Daytona for the Earnhardt family. That might be the best moment in NASCAR history, when Dale was able to win for the first time in 1998. Dale Jr. also able to win here. Got it done in 2014 with Steve Letarte, as you see it there. 3 combined 500 victories for Dale and Dale Jr. Our practice coverage continues in a moment. We're live at Daytona International Speedway. Just over 12 minutes remaining. Xfinity Series practice at Daytona with Michael Waltrip. I'm Adam Alexander, Jamie Little, Regan Smith working hard in the garage. There's your top 5. Chase Briscoe going full-time for the first time at Stewart-Haas. He leads the way. And, of course, you know, when you're here at Daytona, you can anticipate a little flavor. And we are getting it right now with the airport just off the back straightaway, Mike.
It's beautiful watching these jet planes come in and out. That's the Thunderbirds have been kind enough to take up a bunch of race car drivers over the last couple of days, and everybody thrilled to get that opportunity. I think Daniel Suarez went up, and
did he have to use the bag?
I think he said it was. I think he said it was okay.
You ever done that?
No,
I was be too big. I mean, I don't mean that in the wrong way. You're 6'4", 6'5", right?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to do it next year.
Awesome.
Matt DiBenedetto did it, and they just told me what a great experience it was. And
I think it'd be neat.
I've been trying to get my nerve up to do it.
If you'll do it, I'll do it.
Let's do it together.
Partner up.
Track president Chip Wiles said, "Mike, you got to give it a try."
Regan, have you ever flown with the Thunderbirds?
I definitely have flown with them, and I got to admit, you guys, I did use the bag. I couldn't make it through the flight. You knew that, Adam. I'm telling you, it's way too early in the year for
Tell
this.
us about Ross Chastain. That's what I was supposed to ask you about.
Hey, Ross Chastain, as we know and we've documented, he had a very, very eventful offseason. Thought he was going to be in one of the best cars in the series, and as things works out, he is in a very fast car after all, the 10 car for him. Very happy with that. Kaulig Racing gave him the call. Got to hop in this race car for 3 races this year. That's a new team, a second team for Kaulig Racing. So always good to see team owners hopping in and investing more in this series. And Matt Kaulig is one of those guys that's been doing that. Ross Chastain, he's going to be fast tomorrow. He likes his car today.
And that team growing.
He's given us a great view. There's so much going on the track. Even though this pack is smaller, Jamie, we got the visor cam. How's it going down to the garage for you this morning?
It's great. It's always good to be back after the long off season, Michael. But Chase Briscoe, I've been listening to him. You know, it's his first time here in an Xfinity Series car. He's top of the board right now, doing a great job. He says the car is just a little bit loose, so working on handling a bit. But the key for him, the team told him, hey, our goal today, we need to prove to the guys that are good in the draft, prove to them that they can run with you and they can trust you. Remember, if you don't have friends at this racetrack, odds of winning aren't so good, Adam.
Well, and here's the thing. So much of the partnership in the draft has been about manufacture. We know the Fords have been great at working together on the Cup side. Will be interesting tomorrow to see if Team Penske and their 2 drivers partner up with those guys from SHR.
I think it's going to be a little crowded in the front up here. We've already seen 3 wide racing. It's really hard to get lined up with certain cars when you have that type of pack, that type of intensity. And I tell you, Adam, this session tells me that we're going to see that all day long tomorrow.
Look at that 17 car, Chris Cockrum. How many times have we come down here and mentioned his name at the front of the field?
Another guy on our list who will make it to the front at some point tomorrow.
Anybody's guess who will find the speed to get it done here tomorrow.
Vinnie Miller made an appearance. 89.
Closing on the end of the first Xfinity practice of 2019, our coverage from Daytona presented by Toyota. Which do you think would be better for you?
I would fit in that yellow thing for sure.
Is that like the pool pond reference from Caddyshack?
I think the pond might be best for me.
Okay, Regan?
Oh, Chase Elliott, former winner of this race, doing a little moonlighting, coming over to the Xfinity Series for this weekend. Your new crew chief, Taylor Morey, tell me a little bit about him. I know that you have a long-standing relationship with him.
Yeah, Taylor's been at HMS for quite a while, and he and I kind of became buddies over the years. So kind of cool to see him have a good opportunity here, and you know, to crew chief this 8 car. He's got his work cut out for him, man. You know, crew chiefing for a lot of different guys throughout the years, not easy. But good news is he's got some good drivers coming in, I think, later in the season, and wish these guys all the best. So happy to be here. Appreciate everybody, JRM and Kelly and Dale and Aftershocks for coming on board for this race and let me drive. So hopefully we can do it some more, but we'll have fun here this weekend and try to get a win.
Adam, I could tell that Taylor is a new crew chief or a rookie crew chief. He was carrying Chase's helmet to the car earlier today. I had to go over and tap him on the shoulder and say, you know, there's somebody else can do that while you're working on your notes for later here. These guys are excited to have him on board, though.
Great collection of drivers that will drive the 8 this season. And here's a reminder of what happened 3 years ago, 2016. Chase driving for Junior Motorsports, but not in the 8, in the 88. How good was he on that Saturday?
Look at that move, being able to hold off. Look at this steering wheel in there. He's working his tail off and was able just to hold off the 22 car.
And I believe that was Brad Keselowski who was driving the 22 that day. One of his 2 runner-up finishes here at Daytona. Brad has not won. In fact, Team Penske has never won. Michael, can you tell me who has the most runner-up finishes in Xfinity at Daytona without a victory? Think about that one. Most runner-up finishes at Daytona without a victory in the Xfinity Series. Practice continues in a moment, presented by Toyota. Glad you're here. Chase Briscoe leads the way. Xfinity Series practice presented by Toyota, off and rolling here at Daytona International Speedway. A couple of minutes remain on the board, and many drivers have already parked it in the garage, among them Austin Cindric. Regan?
Well, Austin Cindric, we were talking about it on the break. You didn't grow. We're trying to figure out if I shrunk during the offseason. You seem even taller yet this year than last year. 7th on the board, full-time this year with the number 22 team. Brian Wilson is your crew chief. How is the car so far?
Yeah, so far so good. Obviously, putting it through our paces, did the drafting run. Got some good data between me and Brad to go over. It's great to have a teammate with Brad. Obviously, he's one of the best on the play tracks. But like I said, full season's awesome for me, just to be able to have continuity, same group of guys, have money line on board all year with Ford Mustang. So I'm excited for what's going on. We're here racing cars at Daytona. I'm excited for what's going on. Ready to get to the race tomorrow.
Thanks, Austin. Jamie?
Well, from one Rookie of the Year candidate to another, Justin Haley all finished with his practice session in the 11 car full-time this year. Well, did you feel like you were comfortable by the end of that practice?
Yeah, for sure comfortable. Obviously, this is my first time working with the colleague racing guys and the Elite Filter Gutter Protection number 11 Xfinity cars. So, man, we were fast out there. Obviously, we were pretty good on the board. We got teammate Ross Chastain this weekend and using some stuff that he's doing to make our car a little better. But I'll tell you what, that thing was about as fast as Xfinity Internet out there. So, really proud to be with these guys, see what this Xfinity Series season brings. But starting off at Daytona, it's nice to be back in a race car and back in the sunshine down here in Daytona.
This is just Justin's 4th start in the Xfinity Series.
And
Adam?
he nearly won here last summer. What do those last two guys have in common? Austin and Justin. You know?
They're rookies.
No. Came in the Truck Series.
They were rookies.
And they both won on a road course in Canada.
That's right.
Last 2 years.
And in dramatic fashion, I might add.
That's right.
Both of those guys.
I hope Kaz Gralla isn't watching right now. He's going to drive for RCR some this year. What's up, Regan?
Down here in Christopher Bell's garage. I'm trying to not get run over by the race car right now. Hey, you had an eventful offseason, a couple wins here or there, and now you're finally back out on track with the Xfinity cars. How's your race car today?
Well, I think it's actually pretty good. And I'll tell you what, man, I love the look of these new Toyota Supras. They're really good and they look really cool, but I'll be honest, I feel like I was a little bit more competitive than what we were last year in the Camrys on the super speedways.
7 wins a year ago. What do you do to have an encore performance from that? That was a great season. How do you step it up one more notch?
Well, obviously 7 wins is great, but to be able to top that, we need to get better at Homestead. Whenever we went there last year, that was probably one of our worst races. So if we can get better at Homestead for this year and then minimize my mistakes and my DNFs, I think I'm not going to say all of my DNFs were my fault last year, but just try and minimize those and try and finish races whenever we can't win.
Adam, he wins in everything that he gets in. We know the offseason Chili Bowl win. I would expect a lot out of him this year.
And he won at home, too. He got engaged in the offseason.
Yeah, you know what I think's great about that interview? He just says, I'm going to be at Homestead racing for a championship. I know that. And I just got to be better down there when the chips are on the line.
Let's hear from Jamie again.
Well, I know Michael mentioned him earlier. DJ Kennington from Canada back in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Well, what'd you guys find from your car here in these, first practice, about 50 minutes?
It's pretty good. I mean, just running single car runs, really. We got in a small pack there. Everything feels fine with the Lordco Toyota, and looking forward to getting out there and doing some racing tomorrow. I think we're about done for today.
He's a do-it-all man, owns teams, works on cars, and drives them.
How happy you think he is in Daytona, Jamie, driving a car instead of in Canada running a snowplow?
Hey, let's pay off the trivia question. Most runner-up finishes at Daytona without a victory in the Xfinity Series. Who gets the nod there?
I don't know, Adam. You asked so many good questions. Tommy Ellis.
Not Tommy Ellis. One Michael Waltrip from Owensboro, Kentucky.
Is that right?
That's it.
Well, I don't like that distinction. I'm the second here a number of times. I remember 3.
It was 4.
Wow.
Hey, did you have a good time with Xfinity practice?
I love Xfinity practice. I'm as happy as those two are.
Let's do it again in an hour.
Okay, what are we going to do until then?
An hour and 4 minutes. We're back with final practice for these Xfinity cars, and as you can see by the pictures on your screen, it's time for the Cup guys to load up and get ready for the Daytona 500. Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Jeff Gordon in the booth. They'll take you through it coming up next. Here's the schedule throughout the day. Michael and me back here at 2. The final practice of the day, not final practice for the weekend, for the 500 cars is at 3. Qualifying for the trucks at 4:30, and they open 2019 with race day tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Glad you're with us. Busy day at Daytona. It continues next, live on FS1.